Welcome to the Digital Academy Fair, Different Worlds. Today we are not going to talk about a world that already exists, but about why we imagine, design, and will run the principles of sustainability, a world called Gaia Verdis.
Before we introduce that word, I want to ask you a question that environmental scientist Donella Medwoods posed more than 30 years ago to a group of world hunger experts. What would the world look like in which you all truly want to live? Not the one you think is possible, but the one you truly deserve.
Meadows says that many experts didn't want to answer. They said the questions was dangerous. But then they did a dream. Something changed. They were happy, they had energy, and they were clear. We want today, welcome to Gaia Verdis. This place have a three big pillars. Sorry. The first one have two beautiful ideas. The first is that sustainable and attainable are different. Sustainable wants to help but separate, but attainable is about the harmony between the money, the people, the nature, and the values. They are not separate, they want a peace. And that's it.
The second pillar comes from Middens. She argued that environmentalists have failed not for of information or models, but for lack of vision. Vision is the most important step in public policy design. In if we don't know where we want to go, little value comes from making great advance. Gaia Verdis was born exactly for that investigation to imagine.
The third pillar is systems theory. Meadows warns that linear and reduction models are insufficient to transform complex realities. That is why Gaia Verdis is not a list of rules, but a living system where government, economy, education, and culture constantly feedback into in another. In another. Gaia Verdis is archipelago world. 65% of the territory is covered by biodiversity forests, wetlands, and grasslands. Is 8 million inhabitants. Live in autonomous bioregions where the large city holds 30 people designed to integrate with ecosystems. This design responds directly to the vision Meadows described. I can see the farms, I can see the kitchens, everywhere I will find natural integrity and human productivity. Well,
Okay. In this place, the language is the Bertia. This language use word from Latin, indigenous American languages, and the famous Swahili. In this place don't exist word for the garbage. Why? Because in this place the word is retiro. It means the thing change. Change. We use the nature thing because
The government is very regional, participatory democracy with three levels: community assemblies, bioregional councils, and the planetary conference. A for permanent institutions exist, the Tribunal of Ecosystems, which defends the rights of nature. Next. The coming of Gaia Verdis replaced GDP with the Integral Well-being Index, measuring ecosystems health, social equity, free time, cultural diversity, and people declares happiness.
Education in Gaia is scaled living spiral learning. The classroom is the forest, the farm, the community workshop. Meetups remains of that children before a begin crush be sinis are visionaries be nature. They can tell you clearly and fairly what the world should be. There should be no war, pollution, and hungry children. There should be music, fun, beauty, and a great deal of nature. In Gaia Verdis, that visionary capacity is cultivated through life.
In Gaia Verdi, and before please, in Gaia Verdi, we can find a complete education. Why? Because in Gaia Verdi doesn't just make workers for an economy, for example. No, the most important is makes a good people, and these people can care for all forms of life. This is the most important purpose, and that's it.
Gaia Verdis has no official religion, but it doesn't have a traversal ethic called the bond, which recognizes the interconnection of a living being and human responsibility as guardians, not owners of the earth. This ethic responds to the Brundtland reports call for the change in the values that get developed.
In Gaia Verdis, we can find her four big festivals every year. The first one is the Seed Festival because it's a beginning and promise of life. The second one is the Water Festival because it's a resource, a natural resource for all living things. The third one is the Fire Festival, and the last one is the Shared Harvest Festival. This is so beautiful and the most important because the people share their food and resources. Because if you share a dream, it's a good dream.
The Verdinos are long-lived people, averaging 95 years, thanks to diverse local days, meaningful physical work, and mutual care communities. This image embodies Middleton's vision, a world where people are not dominated by fear and greed, but by security, serenity, and joy.
Okay? In Gaia Verdis is not a perfect place. In this place, the people have a problems, but Middles wrote, in my dream, I want problems to fix. I want to travel, no fear. A good world have different problems and big problems, but it has a good values and a good community to fix them.
Gaia Verdis began as vision. It, it's began when three students asked what Middle invited us to ask. What kind of sustainability world do we want to live in? Try as hard as you can to invasions, not just the imbalance of problems, but the presence of blessings, and that is what we invite all of you to the day.
Gaia Verdis doesn't exist yet, but it will exist to the extent that we imagine it that will it is. As Midas concludes, only by admitting, allowing, and carrying the pain can we slowly bring our world away from its present suffering toward or depend on most cherished vision. Version is the first step. Thank you.
Okay, this is the reference, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you.